Namaste everybody. Welcome to my video presentation. Today I will be presenting here on inquiry-based language teaching for fostering 21st century skills. I'm Govindapuri and I'm membership secretary at NELTA, Kosi province, Nepal, and also I'm the PhD scholar. So let me proceed with my presentation over here. Hope everyone is fine. So let's see this proverb. He who asks a question is a fool for 5 minutes, and he who does not ask a question remains a fool forever. The meaning here is that if we ask question, we can learn many more things. If we don't ask questions, we can't learn. So the most important thing is that we need to learn how to ask questions. I have some questions to you. How many of you enable your students to ask questions in the classroom? Okay, great. Good. Yeah. Do you allow your students to work independently in or out of the classroom? Please write in the chat box if you really allow your students to work independently in the classroom and if you allow your student to ask questions. Yes, good. Do you think that our classroom pedagogy is research based or it is inquiry based? Good. Yeah, of course. Thank you for your response. So in fact, we have some problems in our classroom pedagogy. My recent MPhil study found that Nepal's education, particularly school and university education, lacks inquiry-based pedagogy and research culture. Teachers suppose that the students know nothing. They do not have a sufficient knowledge base. They always blame that students do not have the required skills for learning in the classroom. They think that the students should learn the way they teach. This is our mentality, teachers' mentality. We are lagging behind in fostering 21st century skills in the 21st century. These are the problems we are facing often in our classroom and around. So let me talk about 21st century skills here. There are 21st century skills. The first one is critical thinking and problem solving skill. So second one is creativity and innovation. Every teacher needs to develop the environment for enhancing creativity and innovation of the students. We need to develop the communication skills of our learners because we have become the global citizen and we need to make them able to communicate with the people around the world. Next one, collaboration and teamwork. Nowadays, this is in demand because collaboration and teamwork only helps us to reach our destination. Next one, information literacy. We often want to know what is happening around the world, what is going on, what are the latest development in various fields. So we always want to know. That is what we say information literacy. Another one is digital literacy. This is the era of science and technology. We can say ICT, information and communication technology. So we need to enable our students to use ICT tools or they need to have digital literacy. Another one is entrepreneurial mindset. So we have been doing a kind of thing in our practice because we always request our students as well as our children to become the job seeker, find the good job in their life. No, time has changed. That's why we need to help them to be independent, uh, entrepreneurial entrepreneurship skills are very important for us. So these are the 21st century skills which I want to highlight over here. So what is inquiry-based language teaching and language learning then? So this presentation will cover what is it, what are the principles or characteristics of inquiry-based language teaching, and what are the benefits and challenges. And also, I will be talking about how to apply them in our EFL classroom. First of all, what is inquiry-based language teaching and learning then? It is a constructivist approach in which students learn from each other, and it is the act of gaining knowledge and skills through asking for information. The students, they involve into the communication process in the classroom. They ask and then they gain the knowledge and develop their skills. It is useful in promoting lifelong education, which enables EFL learners to become independent, to continue the quest for knowledge throughout their life. And it is a learning and teaching process that encourages learners to learn from studying and discovering facts by themselves. It follows the research process, uh, basically scientific process for learning. And then it's a type of deep learning that encourages students to ask questions, conduct research, and explore new ideas themselves. Furthermore, inquiry-based language teaching is defined as a process of seeking truth or information or knowledge by questioning. It starts with the exploration, and questioning leads to an investigation into the worthy questions or issue or a problem or idea. When they face any kind of issue in their classroom or in their real life, they start exploration. In this language teaching, particularly inquiry-based language teaching, involves asking questions, gathering information, analyzing information, generating solution, making decisions, justifying conclusion, and taking actions. So it follows the certain process in their teaching and as well as in learning. There's some principles of inquiry-based language teaching. The first one is always student-centered. So inquiry-based language teaching or learning is the student-centered, learner-centered learning, and then it focuses on curiosity and questioning. It helps to raise the curiosity of the learners and then ask questions themselves. And always it happens in the authentic context and develops the critical thinking. And it is oriented to solve the problem. It's always open-ended, and then it invites active explorations. It is interdisciplinary also because it has the connection with different subjects and area of study. It's collaborative learning. Inquiry-based language teaching is the collaborative learning. Students, they work in peer, in group, and then they learn. And it also helps to develop the multiple language skills, not only one skill in isolation, but it always integrates various skills in the authentic situations, and it completes the inquiry cycle also. Always it aims to scaffold the learning in the students. There are some benefits of inquiry-based learning. Example, it improves the metacognition of the students. Metacognition means, the knowledge or skill to think creatively, to find the solution themselves. It always generates the motivation, or it fosters the high motivation in the learners. And also, inquiry-based language teaching and learning helps to make the students' independence or autonomy, And then always there happens kind of meaningful learning. It is an attentive process. When students get involved into the inquiry-based language teaching learning process, they become really attentive, motivated, devoted, and committed. And then it also fosters the high interaction and participations from the learner's point of view. Always, this is not a one-way channel. The teacher only facilitates the learner's interaction, provides some materials, creates some environment, and helps them to interact each other. And another most important thing is that critical thinking, which is lacking. Another intellectual and personal growth, inquiry-based. If we follow inquiry-based language teaching and learning process in the classroom, it really develops the intellectual and personal uh, aspect of the learners. However, it is not easy to adopt, to apply inquiry-based language teaching learning process in the classroom. They have some challenges as well. Be the competent teacher in inquiry-based language teaching, we need some certain skills and knowledge. We need to know the research process, and then we need to know how to communicate, how to facilitate their interactions, how to create the group and a peer, and help them to learn. It requires pedagogical sophistication. The normal teacher and help students learn through this learning process. So it requires a sophistication in the pedagogy. Also, measuring the quality of inquiry, using discourse and then discussion to encourage more effective inquiry. So it's really difficult to ensure the quality of the uh, technique. It has certain process. It follows the inquiry cycle. The first one is to ask. We need to ask students questions. When we ask, that triggers their motivation, curiosity. First step is to ask. Second one is to investigate. And the student, they themselves start investigating, searching, and researching, and finding the new facts. And next one is to create. After investigations, create the knowledge, create something new, and also discuss in the classroom. Come back to the group and then start discussing on the main idea they have found. And finally, they reflect what they have discovered, what they have found after following the whole process. They will reflect each other, they reflect themselves first. And reflection is another 21st century skill. Furthermore, inquiry-based language teaching has another cycle. First, what happens there? First of all, the learners, they notice, they ask questions, they state the problems they are facing in the classroom, which is called I wonder. Second stage is the investigation. Their learners, they plan, they read various materials related to the subject, and the research, they go to the field, they interview the participants, and then third one, they record the data, like interview data or survey data or observation note kind of thing. And they organize this data, describe them, classify them, prepare the graph, draw the conclusion kind of thing. And in the fourth step, they discover, observe, examine, and measure and interpret what is the meaning. That is the meaning making process. And then they connect to the thinking process. Like I think they make some logical statements. They relate the findings with the previous studies finding. They relate the findings with the context. In that particular context, whether the findings fit or not, discuss, analyze, evaluate here. And in the next stage, try, they experiment the idea themselves. They model the ideas, they repeat, they use, they apply, and finally, what comes as a result, they reflect, they revise it, rethinking, improvisations, and conclude. This is how the inquiry-based language teaching and learning cycle goes ahead. So I have mentioned over here some steps to follow in the inquiry-based instructions. First, we need to understand what it is. What is inquiry-based learning? Its principles, its definitions, its features, and everything we need to understand. Second, what we want to achieve in our classroom. So define learning objectives. Third one, we need to choose the suitable topic for discussion. And then fourth one, we go to the next step, that is the craft essential questions. When we have some topic or issue for engaging our learners, we need to craft some questions, essential questions, not more than 4, 5. 2 to 3 questions would be better. And then we need to provide the context and background, in which background this issue has come up. We discuss that one, and then we engage the students, or we spark the interest of the students. So generating the curiosity of the learners, it's very important for inquiry-based language teaching. When they are motivated, they learn themselves. And then we go facilitate the exploration. Teacher's role is to only facilitate their exploration. The students themselves get involved into the exploration process. And next one, teacher guides, provides the support wherever they need, they require. And then design, another one is designing conclusion, and then encourage their critical thinking. And next one is reflection, synthesizing the main idea generated from the exploration process. And then we can ask students to create the presentation, take the artifacts and share in the group. And then later this celebrate in the mass through media, or maybe through conference. And finally, we can assess their learning process, with how much they have learned, what confidence level they achieved, and we provide the feedback. This is how we can apply this teaching strategy. Or we can see here again, we can start with the questions, and then we allow them exploration, encourage discussion, provide resources, summarize what was learned. This is how we can continue this one. Another one, some examples that we can apply in our classroom. For example, topic research presentation. We can provide the students topic, they go to the page, they find something, analyze, and they present in the classroom. That example can foster the 21st century skills, which we call inquiry-based language teaching. Another one is debate and discussion. If possible, in our classroom, we can organize the debate, and then ask the students to present their opinions, their views, or counter opinions, counter arguments, and discuss on that particular debatable issue. This is how they can develop criticality. Another one is the language detective. That is a kind of game, language detective game. Next one is cultural comparison. We can present different culture, different way of living in the classroom, and students can compare. Or another way, in our classroom, students might have come from different cultural background, and we can ask them to present their cultural practices and ask them to discuss, compare, contrast, and develop. Another one, problem-based scenario, the teacher can provide this certain uh, uh, problem or a scenario, and then students they try to find the solution. Another one is interviews and surveys. If we encourage our learners to go to the field and then interview the participants, it also fosters the inquiry-based language teaching. More examples, literature circles, create literature circles and ask the students to read different literature, come to the class and present is one way. Another way is project-based learning, provide the project in group or in peer, or sometimes we can provide individually also, and then ask them to collect the data, make meaning and present in the class. Language learning journals, we can create that forum in school, in our colleges, and then we can develop that practice, which also helps develop inquiry-based language learning and problem-solving tasks. Similarly, language learning stations, we can create various stations in the classroom or learning language. They go there and they ask maybe one shopping counter we can create. We can ask them to be shopkeeper or customers, and they go and buy some goods. At that time, they will develop some language skills, certain process, realistic kind of learning can take place there. And similarly, role playing, we can provide these roles to the students and ask them to prepare and present. That also helps them to foster the inquiry base. So in inquiry based language teaching, uh, teacher's role is only the facilitators. Teacher guides the students. Here we can say guide on the side, not says on the stage. So creating a supportive environment is important role for the teachers, because teacher only provides the environment, provides the situation or problems, and the students they try to find the solution themselves. Asking thought-provoking questions is another one. Teacher provides questions, asks questions, thought-provoking questions, critical thinking questions, and presents the model or demonstrate in the classroom. Encourage students to pose the questions, source the information themselves, and provide feedback. These are the roles of the teachers. Students' role is very important in inquiry-based language teaching. In inquiry-based language teaching, students take role of the researcher because they are the sole researcher. They find the knowledge themselves. They are encouraged to ask questions and explore new ideas. Students also have the opportunity to share their findings with their classmates and learn from each other, and also present findings at the conferences and get some feedback. Final message over here is that since inquiry-based language teaching is an approach that encourages students to actively engage in the learning process, to open questions or posing questions, explorations, or collaboration and critical thinking, let's integrate it in our classroom pedagogy, foster 21st century skills, prepare them for higher educations and careers. Because inquiry-based language teaching always prepares the base for the higher education. It helps to become the autonomous, independent learner in the classroom. Okay, I hope you understood. Thank you very much for listening and watching my video. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave the uh, feedback comments in the chat box. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Have a nice time.